What's going on, boys? It's Flaws, and in this video, we're going to be talking about how to play the anchor role in CS2. If you don't know what the anchor is, it's basically the person that's left on the site to hold it and make sure that the T's don't just kind of sneak into the site when it's empty. Usually this happens when your teammate rotates over too quickly or your team's going for an aggressive play around the map. So what you kind of want to do is you want to be playing in a neutral spot. You don't want to be playing too aggressive, and you also don't want to be playing too passive, right? If you're playing too aggressive, let's say I'm playing on site, my team calls, okay, they're hitting A, right? If you want to go for a flank, that's totally fine. But you don't want to just kind of run right into the flank, right? You don't want to like push right through, make a lot of noise, and then let the T's know that you could be coming through here. Because then they could have someone lurking down in underpass, they could peek you, just get a free kill, and then they basically take the site without any people holding it. And they can just run right through, right here, like this. Throw a deep smoke and mark it, something like that. And then just sit right here and wait for the rest of their team to come in. Your team is basically locked out of the site, and it's a really bad situation, right? So what you want to do is you want to be playing in a spot where you can still get info for your team. I love jump spotting because it doesn't really put you in a spot to die, but you can actually get a lot of info for your team, back up, use your utility, use your nades, and just kind of stall and let your team come into the site with you, work the site with you. They can come in from mid, rotate in, throw nades for you, flashes onto the site. You can peek with these nades and flashes, right? Like that pops, you peek. However you want to play it, but you can basically just get that info if they're rotating back to the site. And that's a huge way to kind of just shift the way that the round's gonna be played out, right? If I'm playing too aggressive and I'm playing on top of this van right here, if they start to hit the site and I'm the anchor and I get, let's say, 1 or 2 kills and I still end up dying, if it's early in the round, they can just run right in. It's a 3v4 for them, but the problem is my team's so far off the site that they can do one of those plays where they push forward, they get aggressive, right? And they just make it so that it's impossible for my team to basically get back into the site and just kind of win that round. Same thing goes on the A site. This is more of a general video. It's not really for Mirage specifically, but let me show you kind of what it looks like on both sites. If I'm playing here, maybe my team's going for an aggressive mid play. If I'm playing from here, jump spotting ticket, right? I see a few come out on a Tetris, can jump spot it, start to use my nades to hold them back a little bit, or I can just save them just a little bit and wait for them to start planting, throw a nade like this, throw some spam out into them, and just do a decent job of just kind of putting out some damage, making it awkward, and just waiting for my teammates to rotate in, right? If you kind of are playing in a passive position, like let's say you're over here playing in market, and they just smoke you out, then you're in no better position than the rest of your team rotating back in. So what I like to do is, if someone's kind of crossing here, or I feel like they're going to be taking the site soon, I'll always play in the back of site, right? Because it's a lot harder for my team to rotate back into the site, not knowing exactly where they can be. If I'm playing the back of site here, and I'm just kind of holding this angle, making it so that the T's can't push to the very back of site, and I'm just holding at least some space back in the site, my team can jump through this window and help me out on the site, knowing that no one's close, and they can start to take these fights with me on the site, right? That's kind of like a huge thing if you're the anchor player. Like, you might not even be getting the most kills, but you're basically staying alive as long as possible and making it hard for the T's to actually clear you out. In that time frame too, like flashes are huge. You can always throw different pop flashes, however you want to use them, to kind of make the T's have a harder time clearing you out. So like, let's say I'm playing backside here. Let's play a real angle. Let's do something like this, right? I'm holding this, just kind of waiting, checking cat, checking apps. Okay, I start to see some stuff coming apps. I can throw flashes like this, peek boxes, take these 1v1 fights. Anyone that jumps down, take those fights. Kind of keep shifting. Like, you're gonna be moving quick in these situations. That's why like playing in the back of sites is a little bit better. Let's say you're playing on A. Okay, maybe you have someone playing in con. They die early, right? If I have my con player die immediately, I'm not pushing forward in the site, and I'm not locking myself into an area where I have to try to fight 3 different angles at the same time. I'm falling back, right? Even if I have nades too, like that's another key component. If you actually want to be that anchor player, try to save your nades early in the round. Like if you can, not smoke out ramp early or not smoke out apps early, and just kind of use those jump spots to get the info instead of holding that rush immediately. That's a really good way to kind of control the round later on. With that being said, if you're playing close up on the site and they can hit you from all different angles, it's a lot more awkward for you to actually have a chance in that round. It's a lot better if you just back up and you just are playing, no, like understanding where the gaps in your hold are, And you can kind of communicate that to your team. Like, communication is one of the biggest things as a anchor player. If you're pushed up too far, like, the one thing that is good about that is you can hear footsteps. But if you can kind of get that information anyways, and you're just playing from here, okay, you see one there, see one ramp, see one palace. You can even fight this person palace without having to worry about ramp. It's still a 1v1 fight, right? You're just delaying, throw some nades, throw some flashes, make it hard for them to clear you out. Okay, they might have even smoked you out, CT, right? That's fine. You're just waiting for your team to rotate in, right? As I was saying before, over on the B site, if you can sit back here and like put some spam out and get a kill or two, that's totally fine if you want to play behind that smoke afterwards, but you kind of have to even it out, right? If I let 4 people just take the site without putting any pressure or damage onto them, then there's no real chance that my team has in getting back into the site, but there's a far less likely chance of us winning that round. I'd much rather be someone who's playing kind of in a one and done, or maybe not one and done, but in a spot to get a pick early, right? Like, let's say I'm playing here, okay? If I see anyone come out of ramp, that's fine. I'll at least see them with like a pixel peek. I can call that out to my team, but maybe I'm holding palace from this angle, right? So I'm holding something like this. Okay, if I get someone that peeks out palace, I'm in a weird off angle that I should probably get this kill, okay? And then I can kind of start to jump spot again. If I see anyone ramp, great, I'll throw a nade, do some damage. That's all I really need to do in this position. Wait for my team to rotate back in. Then we can use our utility, my flashes. If they have flashes, they can help me out. One more thing before we end the video. If you guys are playing in a anchor spot or your teammates trying to leave you in a position, if they have any flashes, don't be afraid to like have them flash you into different positions, right? Like, let's say I'm playing on top of this van position, you know, they see some stuff A, or they think it's kind of gone silent on the T side. Don't be afraid to have your teammate throw you flash into apps, right? Even if it's deep, you can have them pop flash you like right here. You peek with that flash, you might get a free kill, but what that does is it kind of just gives you the option to start to walk up, right? If you're walking up instead of sprinting up, you can like catch T's off guard so much more often. Even if you don't, even if you get into a spot where it's like that flash doesn't blind anyone, it still gives you that confidence to keep pushing through and catch T's off guard. Like right here, even if I don't even want to flash, but before my teammate leaves the site, if I just want to like go for an aggressive play, make sure you calm that to your teammate. Be like, hey, before you go, like, let me just go for a push. Okay, you get through here, right? You're pushed up. Okay, yeah, there's nothing A. And then your team can start to set up heavier towards B before they even hit the site. Even if I die in this position, it's much better than me dying on the site, and then they basically have as much time as they possibly want to plant. If I would keep pushing through, this is how you kind of set up those flanks and go for those plays where, you know, you're behind 3 or 4 T's trying to execute on the site. You can kind of get some free kills this way, but make sure you have someone just to kind of back you up in case you do run into a group that they can still throw some nades and slow them down. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.